and welcome back to the Ales and Fails Twitch stream. Today on a lazy Thursday afternoon with another episode of our Final Fantasy XIV campaign as we try to get our green arcanist all the way to level cap. Today joining us is once again friend of the stream, John. John, how are you?
I'm doing good. Could be a little better. Just fiddling with Discord.
Ah, yes, the toils of Discord, of course. Before we go on to our main campaign, though, let's go ahead and review what it is we are drinking today for the rest of the hour. Frequent viewers of the stream know I've had this before. It's a Jackrabbit Brewing Company Party Clouds. Party Clouds is a hazy IPA, and I do love the retro 80s can there. This is a hazy IPA, which is, as you know, different from a West Coast IPA. Not as bitter as those other helpings. Far more unfiltered look. Certainly less clear than a standard West Coast IPA, and certainly hides the bitterness a lot better. I myself don't care for standard IPAs, but hazy IPAs are certainly a delight. I learned recently that the reason why they don't have the same hop character as West Coast IPAs is because the hops they're in are actually not boiled for as long as your conventional West Coast IPAs. So even though they might have the same hop content, they're actually boiled for a lot less. And if you know anything about homebrewing, you'd know that the longer you boil a hop, the more bitterness character it'll give to the beer. If you reduce that, then it'll simply give it flavor, and if you reduce that even more, it'll simply give it an aroma or smell. So hazy IPAs tend to be a little more tropical and fruitier in flavor. I enjoy them. I recommend them. Jackrabbit Party Clouds is solid, definitely solid. Fang and ale, my friends. Very refreshing. All right, so let's go to do this thing. I don't know that we'll get too far today. I think we've got something like an hour. How are things for you, John? That's not what I want.
Things have been good. Just kind of, it's been a while since I've logged on to this character. I think previously in the week I did log on a little bit on my bard character, so I may be rusty with tanking. I think I'm ready.
I'm sure it'll be fine. You probably have more tanking experience from other games. And you'll have to forgive me that in the background you can actually hear my wonderful wolves. But maybe they'll stop now. Okay, maybe not. I'm going to go check on them for just a bit. I'm going to just leave the game and
I'll
be right back.
myself.
Okay, I will be right back. Okay, and we are back.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
good.
wow, that was, I guess that was synchronicity right there. So it doesn't seem like my pups needed anything other than attention. So, what are we going to do now? Are we going to do the dungeon again? The Sastasha, or what? How would we proceed at this point with the rest of the story?
So you probably have the quest. It's probably pirates, and I think that's sending us back to Olda. So I don't think we need to do the dungeon again.
Okay. So you're saying I should just follow the marker on this one?
Yeah, or you can fast travel to Olda.
Well, I have to fast travel to Limsa Lominsa.
Okay. Oh, you have to go somewhere else. Okay.
Yes, we have different. We're of different nationalities, you know.
That doesn't mean that we always have to go to different places.
Okay. Back in
Oh,
the
never
old
mind.
stomping grounds.
I also have to go to Limsa Lomensa. Never mind.
Maybe we'll finally be compatriots.
Maybe.
So, what's been consuming your attention as of late?
Um, I personally have been I guess recently one of my friends has decided that he wants to run a tabletop RPG game that isn't 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. It's a different game called Five Torches Deep. Have you ever heard of that?
No, no. 5TD. What's that? What's up with that? What is it?
Five Torches Deep is kind of like apparently it got created based off of 5th edition as a skeleton, but the whole idea of it is that it's a little bit more geared towards the principles of older tabletop role-playing games. It's what they call the OSR, or the Old School Renaissance. And what basically that is, it's a movement of tabletop RPGs that have tried to adhere more to the old style of gaming in tabletop, which means I guess a slightly less emphasis on roleplay, more emphasis on, tactical combat, more emphasis on resource management, more emphasis on stuff being a little bit more difficult to kill you. So uh, I certainly like 5th edition, but I think that this is an interesting opportunity, so it is something that I'm willing to try.
So, what you're saying is interesting, but what exactly do modern games focus on that is different from all the entire list that you just mentioned?
So I guess modern tabletop role-playing games and largely 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons mostly focus on kind of narrative aspects, kind of role-playing. They also make the game a little bit, I guess, less deadly for player characters because um, sort of when you create a 5th edition character, you kind of put a lot of time into creating it, and some people more than others. So I think the idea is that player death is slightly less of a feature in modern tabletop RPGs. At least that's the running theme that I've seen in the modern tabletop games that I've played.
Uh huh. Well, I guess I had no idea that that's how 5th edition rolled. As you know, I'm a veteran of 4th edition, and we did enjoy our limiting mechanics there. So that's interesting. Are you enjoying the five torches so far?
It's something that we're gonna try out relatively soon. We haven't put a date
Like in the
down,
next
but
5 minutes?
no, not in the next 5 minutes. Otherwise, I wouldn't be playing with you.
I don't know. You could just quit all of a sudden.
I could, or I could hijack your stream.
You could just take over. A new
Yeah,
window
just
pops up and it's just you rolling dice.
Yeah, just 5 people just hop on this call and then they start talking. It's like, all right, guys, it's ready to play 5
Role
players.
characters, everyone
Yes.
who's going to be the healer. Okay, so that quest is over. Now, next main scenario quest is Call of the Forest, which should be. I can't wait to not speak to Batteron anymore. Alright, so the objective is go to the Black Shroud in Gridania. I'm assuming you are on the same quest.
I'm about to be finishing up the cutscene for the previous one.
Would you consider yourself a heavy role player when it comes to tabletop games? Just like heavy, just laying thick on it. Like, once you're in the zone, people can't get you out until the game is over.
No, I wouldn't say so. I
Okay.
think I enjoy it, but I guess I just don't get that much into character.
A method role player, if you will.
Yeah. Why would you say that in your experience you used to get into character like that?
Uh, I guess it. I would certainly understand that I was playing the game, but when I needed to align myself with my character, I would certainly do that over uh, the objectives of the party at times, which certainly threw things chaotically. I wasn't about to simply go against everyone's decision, but I would at least try to modulate it so that it would be reasonable for my character to follow along.
Makes sense.
But at that point, it was more about, hey, you guys understand that you have to convince me to just do this. It doesn't make sense for me to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that definitely some things that I've struggled with previously in other campaigns is just kind of having the character motivation kind of align with the campaign motivation because I think a lot of published campaigns just kind of expect you to be kind of like this heart of gold adventurer who wants to be the hero of everybody, which is fine, but it does limit your sort of motivation. So you either have to become really, what do you say? You have to become really crafty at kind of figuring out how to drive your character towards that same goal, or you just have to make a lawful good character.
Yeah, yeah, I hear that. Some things never change. I'm certainly not a fan of those players that just want to wreck the adventure for the sake of wrecking the adventure, though. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
I've dealt with a
hey,
couple of
the
those.
friendly bard is telling you what the objective of the story is, and then they're like, oh, I'm going to roll for stabbing him.
Yeah, that is kind of silly.
Okay, cultist in Deepcroft.
back 1 second. I guess you've asked me, has anything consumed your interest lately?
Hmm. Well, I did start watching this Netflix show called Everyone is Dead. Or Everybody is Dead. All of us are dead. Hold on a second. Let me look this up. Well, essentially, it's a Korean show where they are high school students who have to face a zombie apocalypse. The title is actually All of Us Are Dead. It's pretty interesting so far. I mean, I don't know. Are you into zombie shows, John?
I like The Walking Dead first season, but beyond that, I can't say that I've watched very many.
You think it's overplayed?
No, I just haven't watched too many, and I haven't really been called to watch anymore.
I don't. Well, there's a couple of things that differentiate this particular show from other zombie shows. Number one thing that I wholeheartedly appreciate is just the fact that they are seen zombies. And guess what? They are actually saying, hey, these are zombies. Just like we've seen in TV shows before. Which doesn't happen in a lot of zombie media. I feel like people always act like this is a new thing that they've never encountered and they have to learn what a zombie is.
Yeah, that is kind of true. That is kind of true. And a lot of shows are like, oh my god,
Why are they walking and they are dead? This
they are
is
dead.
unusual.
They are walking.
And
How is this possible?
I am sure that if they bite me, I might become one of them. The other interesting thing that the show does is that it is happening at a high school. And so while all of this carnage and people chewing is happening, the protagonist, the main cast, is also just acting to the level of intelligence and reality of a high school student. And they can be cliquish and they can have their own personal interests. And I think it's compelling for that. I've seen 3 episodes so far. And I would say it's a good time. I'm gonna continue watching it, see where it leads.
That sounds somewhat interesting. I think it's kind of surprising how last time that we spoke, you also spoke about a different Korean show. So you're definitely a fan of that genre, I guess. Korean drama.
The genre of Korea.
Yes.
I do enjoy my Korean dramas. Okay, I'm in the current main scenario quest, Fire in the Gloom, in which I am supposed to speak with the Quiverman at the entrance of the Tamtara Deepcroft. That is another dungeon, isn't it?
It does sound like another dungeon.
Like maybe the Dead Mines.
What is the Dead Mines? Please educate me.
Dead Mines. You can win a parrot. Booty Bay.
Yes, Booty Bay.
Booty Bay. Never forget Booty Bay. Okay. I did also just see the movie Gattaca.
What is that one about? It sounds like a sort of a space opera.
Well, it's a 1990s movie. What the? So it's a 90s movie, and the only reason why I watched it is because some of my friends said that I should watch it. Excuse me. Hold on, just made it to the door at Tamtara. Tamtara Deep Croft is now accessible. Well, I guess I will wait for you here then.
Oh wow, a dungeon so soon after. That's pretty amazing.
Well, I am certainly glad. Took long enough the first 30 hours of this game. But yes, Gattaca is a movie where I think it was clearly made in the 90s when everyone was obsessed with DNA and sequencing the whole human genome, and Dolly the sheep, in the sense that it depicts a society that essentially puts your genetic code over everything else, and so your destiny is more or less preordained by what your genetic code is, and depending on what your genes are determines the type of job that you get, and what kind of life you're expected to have. And generally people only pick children or offspring based on the types of genes that they're going to get. And of course, the story is, well, there's this one guy who was born just as a random birth, and he wants to prove that he is better. And he decides to steal the identity of somebody who is a perfect person genetically. And he starts doing really well. But of course, apparently the future has all of these checkpoints that for like every single door that you open, you have to input your genetic code. So he's constantly trying to hide his own DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the perfect human being that he took his genetics from is Jude Law, which, you know, pretty handsome fellow. I could see why he was cast as that particular person.
As the person with the perfect genetics.
So he had perfect genetics, but then apparently he was involved in an accident where that left him in a wheelchair, and so he decided to sell his genetics based on the fact that he can't really do as much as he could have had he not been in that accident.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Interesting movie concept.
I thought it was a fun exercise, and so it's like it's his dream to go to outer space, and in order to enroll in the space program, you have to have the best of the best genes, and so he's trying to do that without getting caught. Yeah, so it's a fun movie. It's on Netflix.
Would you say it's more action, more drama?
I would say it's a bit more drama, but it's definitely got action. There's definitely a few more plot points that I missed during that retelling. Also, Gattaca, Gatc. Know what I'm saying?
I don't, unfortunately.
Please, know what I'm saying. Please just get it. Did you just complete the quest?
I did. I'm kind of wondering. It says enter the Tamtara Deep Croft with a party of other. Oh, okay. So, I guess it lets you choose whether to do this with other people or it lets you choose it to do with some NPCs, which is kind of strange. I don't think I've ever seen a dungeon do that before. I started playing this game last year. Okay, well, let's just do it the good old-fashioned way, I think.
Party up.
Yeah,
What is Zalera?
that's the data center we're on.
Oh. I kept hearing that word uh, in relation to this game. Now I understand.
Hopefully this cues both of us. Yes, it did. Okay. By the way, a heads up that I usually get really focused when I'm tanking because it's just so new to me. So if I just stay quiet for really long,
I'm going to
um,
start burst fire questions.
yeah, that's probably not a good idea because I'm just not gonna answer you. But yeah, just be aware.
I will be aware. Thank you for that. That's fine. I will monologue while we're going through this.
Did you accept, by the way?
I'm pretty sure I accepted. Light party. What's a heavy party?
I think that's like 8 people.
Would you get 2 tanks in that one?
Yes, I believe so.
Does the number of tanks ever change?
I think the maximum I've played with is 2 because I've done some like raid content. That's about it. I don't think there's more. I think there might be, but I just haven't. I just don't remember seeing.
Hey, there's another Lalafell. And also a naked person. Oh, I think I remember this dungeon from my first run through this game. It's got like like a big chasm in the middle of the walls. It's almost like a well. And then it's got like little outcroppings to the side. That's not what I wanted to do. Here we are, 2 grown men trying to destroy 1 beetle.
It is true.
That was certainly one satisfying thing from playing the gladiator, just the shield chuck or whatever it's called.
But I think it's time for the first boss.
I'm not ready. I guess I am now. What? Seriously. Beautiful. Not my type of thing. God, you guys are quick. Why can't nobody
Yeah,
just look at the chest?
Well, somebody picked up the chest.
A mightling. See, I could see the final boss right there in the middle of the well. We could just jump over there. If only we had a Landmaster jet tank.
Yes, sir. Guess that would solve a lot of problems.
So, well, I guess we'll save the heavy topics for after the dungeon. There's one big one that I wanted to hit. So as long as somebody gets the chest, it becomes part of everyone's opportunity to gain it, right?
Yes.
Nice. Wow, I am terribly ineffective here. Beautiful.
Very nice.
I don't like carbuncle. Jeez.
Hey, why do you hate carbon?
I don't like carbuncle. He doesn't do anything.
Apparently he has to do something.
He was so much more useful back in Final Fantasy VIII.
Does Carbuncle at least look like he used to in Final Fantasy VIII?
Yeah, I would say it's closer to a Pikachu than what he looked like in Final Fantasy VIII, but close enough, I guess. Wow. One of the struggles that I'm still... Oh, I think we picked up a different band of enemies.
Okay.
Wait, is this an alternate route? I think it's off the
No,
path, right? Oh.
I think this is the main path. The other room that I jumped into wasn't though.
How dare you try and explore, John?
Sorry. It's going pretty well so far.
Yeah, I don't seem to think that we're gonna have an issue here. Just gotta focus. Watch out!
Alright, I stunned him. So we can't use that again.
Very nice, very nice. Well done.
Very nice to you and to Carbuncle as well.
I did. I
Especially
definitely did.
Carbuncle.
Okay.
MVP.
Oh look, it's what's the name? It's a trap man.
Trap man.
You know that meme? It's a trap.
Oh, you mean like one of those calamari people?
Yeah, the calamari people. You know, I was just thinking last night. I really like scallops.
Mm-hmm.
Are you pro scallop, John?
I guess it's okay.
Come on, they're the best. Not crustaceans. They're shellfish. There we go, shellfish. I put him to sleep. Fully resisted.
Did you try to sleep the boss?
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Am I supposed to know that bosses don't sleep?
I don't think so. I don't blame you. I guess I didn't know either.
Beautiful.
Nice.
We have done it. We have defeated General Pepper.
General Pepper.
Okay. All of these are not for me. Well, imagine that. We've defeated the first two dungeons of the game already.
Yeah, I'm
With,
pretty surprised it happened in such close proximity. I definitely don't remember that happening.
I believe the first three instances are actually fairly close proximity, but my memory is not the best. All that being said, though, I need a short break.
Hmm.
I will be right back. I need to get a refill, so give me about 5 minutes.
Okay.
All right, I will be right back. Okay, and we are back. Before we head off onto our next adventure, simply to point out the fact that today's next drink is a Boulevard Brewing's Bourbon Barrel Quad. Have I ever poured this during this particular game, John?
I don't believe so.
Do you know what a quad is?
I'm sure you've explained it to me, but I'm just a forgetful person.
Well, a quad is a Belgian style beer originated in Belgium. It's not a double, it's not a triple, it's a quad. And so my rule of thumb, it's 4 times as strong as your standard drink. As most Belgian beers goes, it's fairly spiced. Uh, Quads are very strong in alcohol, closer to 10%. They are maltier, far more caramel flavor. They're a little, I find, slightly less in body than doubles, which have very similar character, but I think doubles are more flavorful, whereas quads are stronger in their alcohol taste. This one's interesting because it's an American brewery, Boulevard Brewing, which I've had of several in this particular stream. So if you'd like to know my thoughts on it, you'd probably find a more comprehensive listing in one of my untapped ratings. So all that being said, Fang and Ale.
Nice.
Very, very caramelly. Okay, let's go back to this game. So I believe I got about 20 minutes left, unfortunately. Would you like to do a daily and get randomly queued up for a dungeon, of which there are two, or shall we continue with the main story?
I mean, I don't mind either way. Whatever you think is funner to close out your stream.
Let's do the daily. I think we might, uh, we might get some more traction that way and at least level up, and that way our next run at the MSQ will be that much faster. Do you know how to queue up for dailies? Because I have forgotten. I have since forgotten.
Yeah, it's just in the duty finder. I can do it. It's just in the duty finder, and then it's the duty roulette. So I'll just queue us up for that. Did I queue both of us up? Do you see a queue?
I do see a queue.
Okay, good. I guess while you're waiting for the queue, if you do make your way over here and you start watching the cutscene, I think this is probably one of the more interesting. Well, it's not really a cutscene related to the story so much. It's just one of those interesting cutscenes that kind of like does a little bit of world building. And I think this one, once you see it, is I'm just kind of interested in your take because it's just between four characters. It seems pretty minor, but I remember it from the last time that I played this game when I was leveling up my first character, and I remembered it when I was looking at it now, and I have an interesting perspective on that little cutscene. So if you do end up watching it today,
But is this to close out the quest?
yeah, it is.
Okay. Well, it's asking me to travel back to Gridania, which is I guess what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
4 characters. I'm assuming it's the Ninja Turtles.
No, 3 characters.
Party mechanics. I guess it's interesting to understand that there's multiple other four-person parties out there that are trying to achieve the same goals.
Hmm. I guess, did you finish watching it?
Yeah, that was pretty short.
Yeah, so it was the three characters, right? And where it was like a healer, a ranger, and I think like a spellcaster or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so isn't it kind of funny how the dialogue they have is like comically dark for like this setting? They're talking about how their tank got beheaded or something, and then they start like, uh kind of ganging up on the healer for not doing their job. All the meanwhile, there's like this warm lighting, there's like this relaxing music in the background.
Yeah.
And then the healer looks like like they're mortified, absolutely.
I think I see as the way that I am digesting it right now. I don't know how true it rings necessarily, but I think it does provide a certain levity. Party member has been drawn from duty. Provide certain levity to the reality that the characters inhabiting this world have to face. Because it is true that if you were to exist in this world, you do face that potentiality of somebody simply dying while you're adventuring in one of these dungeons. And it doesn't seem like this world is disconnected from the notion of death.
Hmm.
Just the fact
I
that they are
just
speaking about it with such, not incredible gravitas. It's more about just attacking each other in a very almost immature way. It just makes it seem like, well, this sort of thing happens more often than not.
Mhm.
At least that was my read from it. Hey, we've been here before.
We have at least we got the other dungeon and not the same one, so that's nice.
Hey, that wouldn't have been so bad. I do like the second, the Tamtara mines far better than Sastasha.
Hmm. Yeah,
Call me.
if there's ever a time that you wanna test out tanking, like if you wanna level up an alternate job, or if you wanted to hop on your other character and just kind of get your bearings, I would definitely recommend running this one because it's literally just run around and tank and spank and maybe stun one ability, so it's pretty good for that.
Well, I do love to spank.
Blue. Okay, remember the color blue.
Okay, I will remember it. Wow, that's a heavy beer. Just the change of the music suggests to me that this is a harder than normal enemy or a blitz.
Is that what you noticed, like, in general, or is that what you noticed just now?
Oh, just now.
I see.
To be perfectly honest with you, I don't know that I understand Final Fantasy XIV to have a particular enemy battle theme pop up with particular enemies other than main bosses.
It's true.
Giant clam. I recently did a stream on Star Fox 64, and exactly one of the planets in that game is completely underwater, and one of the enemies that you have to face is giant clams. Very obnoxious because first you have to open them and then you have to kill them. You can guess how annoying that is on an on-rail shooter.
I can only imagine.
What? This is not the way. Yeah, so what I actually wanted to talk about was that Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer. Did you happen to catch it?
I did. I did catch it.
Any thoughts?
That looked pretty interesting. It reminded me a lot of Final Fantasy XV.
Definitely did. Sora is definitely sporting a slightly more Noctis type of look.
And as the internet has pointed out, he no longer has his big feet.
You know what? I'm gonna go against the flow and say I did enjoy those goofy giant feet.
I think everybody did it to some extent.
Can you imagine having giant feet and how well supported and how great of a balance you would have if you had those?
I guess. I guess that's true.
I believe the world in which Sora is found has been revealed to be called Quadratum. There's supposed to be some sort of a afterlife sort of motif to it, and that's only supported by the fact that in Eastern cultures the number 4 is associated with death. 4 as in quad.
As in the quad you're drinking.
As in the quad I am drinking. Yes, I am very close to death as I am drinking it. I'm gonna put him to sleep.
I think that's a good idea.
Did it work? I don't think it. Beautiful. I have read recent interviews though that suggest that this game is may not be as closely linked to The World Ends With You as some people suggested already, which is
Mhm.
also a game about traveling to an afterlife.
I didn't really see that connection. Uh, I guess it would be interesting to see what the fan theories are as to why people thought the world ends with you.
Well, I think it's because, and I'm going to reveal a spoilers for Kingdom Hearts 3 in for the next minute or so. So, there's a secret scene at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 where I guess you wake up in Shibuya, which is the main setting of The World Ends With You, and it is the afterlife. Um, so whether or not Quadratum is that world, it is unknown at this time. But it's an interesting connection there.
Hmm.
Spoiler over. Ah, Captain Madison. Excuse me.
It's the character that will be recurring throughout the entire Final Fantasy XIV story.
You think Captain Madison is essentially the Sid of the modern Sid of the 2020s?
Yes, yes, I do.
Okay. Look for Captain Madison in Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within 2, The Return of Captain Madison. Dead Man Tell No Lies, or Dead Man Tell No Tales. One of those. What is this guy even thinking? Today is my day. I'm gonna face 4 adventurers. Wow, that was a long one. Nice. All right, my timer is ticking. How many bosses away are we from the main boss here?
I think we're one mini boss and one final boss away from finishing this dungeon.
Excellent. Get him, Captain Medicine.
Captain Madison, the character who will play a pivotal role throughout all of the expansions.
Captain Madison, the leader of the Primals.
Yes. Oh, so good. You know who one of the main antagonists is in this story. It's good that you're paying attention.
The unfortunate part is that you only know this lore from side material like the Final Fantasy XIV comic books.
Well, they mentioned the primals in the main story.
Alright. How close are we? Fairly close. It seems like we're right there.
You can press escape and skip the cutscene if you don't want to see it again.
Alright, I think I've got to hop off, unfortunately. I can hear my dogs.
Alright.
But, oh wait, never mind. My dogs are just barking at nothing. And I gotta focus. Sorry about that.
Making me nervous.
Sorry, my dog just decided to start barking at not what I expected to be coming through the door.
Just use all of your damage cooldowns, that way the dungeon is over faster. I wonder if this healer is genuinely a new player or if they're trying to...
I have noticed that they're a little behind on,
Yeah, if they're trying to test my limits or something.
You think that they woke up this morning and they were like, I'm gonna test whatever tank's limits today. I got an ad.
Just kill, quick. Sorry, there we go.
Oh, did we win? I thought I had a few ads on me.
Yeah, but they go away if you beat the boss.
Well, again, well done. It seemed like that healer, our party's healer, was a little slow on the pickup, but I can't properly tell because I'm not a healer.
Yeah, that healer actually told me to switch to tank stand, so I would imagine they're a little bit experienced, but that's kind of strange. There's a nice arcanist grimoire there for you.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
A job well done. Nice. I would say a good day's work, John. Good day's work, as they say. Um, yeah. So I guess we'll pick this up next week. Hopefully, a bit more of a timely stream. Any final words before I destroy you? I guess.
Or you destroy me. Uh, Nothing except I leveled up to level 26. Nice.
Very nice. I am at level 25. I'm pretty sure I have some loot that I haven't compared with my current equipment, so I'll probably do that off stream.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think let's wrap it up here. Let me just go ahead and do that. So thank you very much for tuning into the Ales and Fails Twitch stream featuring a friend of the stream, John. Catch me next week if you want more Final Fantasy goodness. Otherwise, tomorrow I'll be doing the standard retro stream. I think we'll be going back to Subcon and Super Mario World too. So stay thirsty, Wolfkin.